Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? We got a lot going on. I think we're going to have a lot going on for a long time. For a long time. I mean, I thought today would be a quiet news day, but because of yesterday, it's not. What happened yesterday? Powell got out there and said, well, kind of stated the obvious, and the market went, yay! He's basically saying, listen, if we had some certainty instead of uncertainty, I call it chaos, in the tariff space, then yeah, we would be on track to, consider when we're going to put in those rate cuts. But right now, we're in a perfect position for wait and see. And there was another one. What was her name? Ball or something like that. There was another Fed representative that said the same thing. She was like, yeah, we're in the perfect position to wait. We're in the perfect position to wait. But I think Powell naming tariffs as the main reason for waiting, well, that'll do it, right? That kind of makes sense. At least to me, it makes sense. But it shouldn't have been a shocker. It should not have been a shocker, but that's basically why markets went up yesterday. It's like, so it is on their minds to lower rates. That's kind of interesting to me. That's very interesting to me. So I pay attention to that, right? There's something else that I'm paying attention to. Wow, just across the wire, it just literally just got announced. Meta signs a new deal with Constellation Energy for nuclear power. Now, I don't know about you, but that screams to me that they're getting involved in AI deeply, right? And there could be some Web3 space going on in there. Why? Metaverse. I'm telling you, they might have cut back on the metaverse, but I don't think they've given up on it. And there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of potential there. So yeah, they're securing their power needs right now. That is interesting. So if you're buying stocks, Meta could be something you're looking at. Constellation is something you could be looking at. And think about Meta's ecosystem. Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and then all the other stuff that they have. Quest, the Quest visors or goggles, whatever the heck they're being called these days. You have a lot of stuff. You just have a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, pay attention. The Ethereum Foundation restructured into protocol. Just a new structure for the organization, prioritizing scaling, layer 2 blob capacity, user experience, and new leadership around that space, as well as external collaboration. What does that say to you? For a lot of people, we just had this conversation last night. A while ago, I would have thought, Ethereum was dead. Until you start to see, holy moly, they're making big strides. This is a big stride. Focus on scaling. The whole package says we're focused on having projects build on Ethereum. That's what that says. That's what that's all about. I told you, don't sleep on Ethereum. Another one not to sleep on is BNB, another major space where people actually pay attention to and build upon. I'm telling you, don't sleep on some of these things. It's a very big deal. Then we've got AI and crypto integration creates user-owned spaces. Why? If I told you my company has about 4 nodes up and running right now. 4 nodes up and running. Specifically for AI. AI and crypto integration creates user-owned autonomous digital economies via NFTs, smart contracts, DAOs, and a lot of people are talking about it. Because now you can do a hell of a lot more with a hell of a lot less. Yes, can you tap into some of these big spaces that have big GPU, and do things with them? Of course you can. But you can also build out your own network to solve your company's local problems. And that's what we're doing right now. We've built out those spaces. That's why we have 4 nodes. Why? Failover and use case. We can immediately switch off between this section or this node is doing these functions, this node is doing these functions, the other two nodes are backup to those nodes. Like, there are different ways that we can configure on the fly for what we're trying to accomplish. So GMB is built on a very, very strong infrastructure. A very strong infrastructure. And, it's, apart from ownership, it's geographically dispersed, meaning it doesn't have a central location, right? I'm not going to use the word decentralized because it's owned by moi, but in terms of geographically being geographically dispersed, if one location goes down, the other three can automatically pick up the work. That's a very big deal. It's a very, very, very big deal. We do a lot of dispersed computing at our company. A lot. If I had to put a percentage on it, I'd probably say 99. 99. Think about that. So it's a big deal. When you see this coming together, you start to realize, holy moly, there are a lot of these companies that are rethinking how they do things, being able to introduce microservices that can help them move faster. We moved over certain of our services from big box kind of implementations to small microservice implementations. And not only did we see an increase in efficiency where we can upgrade pieces of processes without disturbing the rest of the process. Huge. Then we saw a big pickup in speed, the speed at which we can accomplish things. We're running at least 2 to 3 times faster. At least. We still have to run the numbers because the numbers that we're seeing, we still can't believe it. It's that nuts. It's that nuts. So when you start to think about how companies can move, when I listen to companies where I own stocks or where I'm thinking about buying the stock, that's what I'm listening for. I'm listening for that kind of forward thinking. And if they don't have that kind of forward thinking, I question their existence in the future. Straight up, I don't know that they'll be here. I don't know that they will be here. I'm just saying, I was just listening to CNBC and they were talking about how the major music labels are now talking to the two predominant companies that are using AI to create music. And they're trying to negotiate deals that would enable existing artists to have deals with those companies and you leverage their work and everything else. And there's a plus and there's a minus to that from an artistic standpoint. But you want to know what I didn't hear out of any one of those people? Yeah. The value of the word original. Original music. Right? Done by a human being. The value of that versus, oh, that's just AI. People aren't going to go to a concert to listen to AI. I don't care what you say. They're not going to a concert to listen to AI. So the value of original artists, you're going to see words like human pop up and be used in marketing. It's what I'm listening for. It tells me about what's coming. It helps me actually do my own research, know my entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. I'm just saying, there are things that I'm paying attention to that I never thought I would have been paying attention to before. Crypto, business, stocks, options, bonds. I don't care what it is that you're using for your investment vehicle. I'm looking at all of those things and rethinking, recalibrating based on what my hands are touching right now in terms of technology. I look at a lot of companies and I go, it'll be better for you to realize you're a technology company that specializes in that business. And there are certain businesses that's just a business. Like a plumber is not a technology company, right? But technically you could call it technology, but you know what I mean. But when I look at like banks, investment institutions, when I look at those, I'm kind of like, you need to get your technology in line. You are a technology company that specializes in a space. And people expect more. And if you don't give it to them, there are smaller companies out there that are doing the job that are going to look at you when you come knocking on the door. Hey, we want to buy you. And they're going to go tell you to pound sand. They're going to tell you to stop. I'm telling you, some of these businesses, they're like, we don't need to get bought. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. Some of these new banks got bought. They allowed themselves to get bought, right? Some of these online banks allowed themselves to get bought. They got bought. Why? Because they were starting to eat the lunch of some of the, existing infrastructure, traditional banks. And you sit there and you're kind of like, oh, okay, I can see that. But you have other companies that are like, yeah, no, we don't need to get bought. We're making money. We're making good money. We'll keep doing what we're doing. Those are the ones you need to be afraid of. Those are the ones you need to be afraid of. Those are the ones that are doing big things. And their second thought is money. Their first thought is, we're going to build this because we already know we're already making money, or we know we're going to make money, and we're going to keep doing this right. Aha. So that's what I'm looking for when I start doing my own research. Then you've got how Coinbase, it's being said that Coinbase knew of the data breach months before they let the public know. Yikes. But here's the thing, though. That's often the case. I told you about how a municipality knew about a data breach that happened in 2024, October, 7 months ago. And they said nothing. They said jack. Wow. Yeah, let that wash over you for a minute. That's pretty disgusting when you stop and think about it. So the fact that Coinbase knew months ago, maybe. Right. I mean, I'm thinking about this, and you have, okay, we know about this data breach. Is it over? Were we able to lock them out? How they get it? You have a whole thing about forensics. When you get to the point where you're doing forensics, meaning you're researching how it happened, you should let the public know. Transparency is a big deal. It's a bigger deal than what most companies, put value on. But I'm going to tell you right now, I have an account with Coinbase. And that incident and that of one of my friends actually being affected gives me pause. I'll say it like that. Gives me pause. I mean, because let's not play games. Coinbase and other centralized exchanges are major fiat on-ramps. Right now, you're going to have people thinking about other ways to on-ramp their money. I'm just saying. And we're moving toward a world where on-ramping, off-ramping is not going to be a problem. Why is that? Well, because if I accept crypto and you accept crypto and I get paid in crypto and you get paid in crypto, there comes a point where it's going to be so common, so ubiquitous, that the choice between fiat and crypto, the on-ramping and off-ramping of fiat, it's not going to matter. And that's the ultimate goal. I think some people might have lost track of that. That's the ultimate goal, is to be able to go any place with crypto, use your crypto, go to the next place. It's kind of a big deal. Pay attention. There are opportunities out there. Then we have Representative Brandon Gill of Texas. Why can't these politicians just, do the minimum? This guy couldn't do the minimum and report his Bitcoin purchases on time, over $500,000. Come on, you can't do the minimum? You should lose your job because you couldn't do the minimum. You couldn't report. Are you serious? It's not that difficult. I bought something, set a calendar date, report it. Oh, why do I want to set a calendar date? Because you have people out there that copy trade. And I think it's irresponsible not to make it more difficult for people to copy trade you. Because what happens if you're trading incorrectly? Just saying. I wouldn't want that on my shoulder. So I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to make it hard. So if I make a purchase now, and I don't have to report it for another week, 2 weeks, or whatever, however long it is, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because I don't want people. I would not want people copy trading me. I take chances where other people wouldn't take chances. I'm solid where other people are taking chances. It's very rare that the cosigns actually align. I'm just saying. It happens, but it's rare. Then we've got Australia is cracking down on ATMs, on Bitcoin ATMs, crypto ATMs. Where are you, kid? There you are. Cut that out. There you go. It's Stitchy. There's Stitchy. You want to come up here and say hello? Come. No? Okay. I thought he was going to get on camera. He just woke up. He's like, nah, I'm going to go get on my favorite couch and relax. That's Stitch. He is the star of the house. So when I'm looking at this, I'm kind of like, pay attention, folks. Pay attention. Stitch. So he's the prince of the house, and sometimes he doesn't do everything that he's supposed to do. Sometimes he gets in trouble. You got to let him know. But the use of ATMs around the world is going to pick up. And so Austrac said, hey, look, listen, we're going to put a $5,000 limit on this so we can kind of limit scams and things like that. Cool, but I think you need to look at the operators. I think that's where you need to go with that kind of thing, not just putting limits. You have KYC problems or know your customer problems. You have AML or anti-money laundering problems that come along with Bitcoin ATMs or crypto ATMs. Those are the kind of things you need to look at. What's your operating system actually doing? What kind of information are you actually capturing? Things like that. Those are the things that they also need to dig into, right? I mean, they've got 72% of the transactions by users over 50. Wow. That's over 50 years old. Wow. Because you would think that it would be different, that it would be the younger generation doing that. No, it's older. It's crazy. SEC's Hester Pierce considers allowing in-kind Bitcoin ETF redemptions to reduce tax and operational costs, with BlackRock proposing the model. Yeah. Remember, we were talking about ETFs the other day. So imagine you get into an ETF. That ETF was able to purchase Bitcoin at a lower price. So now you're in on this ETF, and you go, you know what? I want to custody my own Bitcoin or my own Ethereum or my own whatever it is, right? And so give me my stuff. Does that not sound like a centralized exchange? I'm just saying, does it not sound like a centralized exchange? Except you're getting a discount on what you could be getting a discount on whatever coin. So imagine you could be sitting on Bitcoin at right now. It's at like what, 105? It's at 100. Yeah, 105, 361. Sitting at 105, and they bought it for 100. I'm just saying, there are things that are out there that make you start thinking about it. That's what I'm talking about. Dude, I was talking about this weeks ago because they brought it up weeks ago. It's only now that it actually might get some headway. But yeah, in-kind ETFs, because Hutanik's on. Good morning, Hutanik. But wouldn't that be interesting? You get your money back. But it's you can get it back in kind. But I wonder, oh, so you're trying to say you brought it up before me? You scooped me? I'll tell you what, you do the barbecue, I'll bring the alcohol, we'll sit down, we'll talk about it. Like that idea, right? So, doing it in kind, I'm like, it could happen. Imagine if it did. It's been the talk of the town since Grayscale. It really has. It's been the talk of the town since Grayscale had their trust. If you make me laugh this early in the morning, man, it's too early in the day for me to be sending you to the corner, man. What else we have? We've got Ripple's RLUSD gains Dubai's DFSA approval, enabling 7,000 plus companies within the Dubai International Financial Center companies to use regulated stablecoins. That's huge. That's a huge move. Basically, what Ripple is saying is, well, we couldn't buy Circle the way we wanted, but we do have these deals coming. So watch out. When I look at the leaderboard in terms of stable coins, Tether, Circle, DAI, all the way down, you've got all these players in that space, right? I'm waiting for the banks. I told you there are a few banks that are trying to get together to create their own stablecoin. If those banks get together and create their own stablecoin, now here's the thing. Who says it would stop at those banks? Because what would immediately happen? We're going to introduce our own stablecoin that we'll use to move money, get with other banks to accept the stablecoin, and what do we have? An industry alternative, an industry-born alternative to SWIFT. Now, you already have alternatives to SWIFT right now, but imagine. Oof. I know in-kind doesn't create a tax event. You've already got it because you're involved in an ETF. However, what we were talking about the other day, about not everything is a tax event. It really depends on how you move things. Yeah. Now you're starting to see, right? If you sit down and you think about it, there are always going to be ways for those with means to be able to move their money, right? So, for example, something silly. You go out and you buy a $400,000 Ferrari. Depending on if your company did it, right? Your company buys it or your trust buys it, whatever it is, they get to write off 100% of the value the first year. Meanwhile, you're driving around in a car that is working for you because maybe you bought the car for marketing. So the company owns the car. You get to have use of the car. You're driving around in a beautiful Ferrari, marketing, right? You get to write that off all in the first year. And then so what do? You enjoy it for the first year. You roll into the dealership and you give it back and you do it, wash, rinse, repeat. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. And the write-off that you get, here's the kicker, the write-off that you get, well, it's a write-off, so that means I can actually go make real money. I can go make that $400,000 over there and not have to worry about paying taxes, and I get the benefit of this beautiful car. There are lots of things that rich people can do, that wealthy people can do, that others can't because they don't have the means. Just saying. Pay attention. The Augusta rule is one. I talk about that all the time. Just saying. You could think these are things you could think about. Trader Peter Brandt predicts gold's breakout will mirror Bitcoin's. I hope so. I'm just saying. Then you got Japan reclassifies crypto as financial products under stricter regulation. And Japan's been moving towards stricter regulation for a while. And I'm just wondering, why? Why are you doing this? It seems to be detrimental to your economy. Just wondering. And then finally, that whole 21 Capital thing, with Cantor Fitzgerald, Bitfinex, Tether, I forgot who else is in it. It'll dawn on me. But that's why Tether moved 1.1 billion in Bitcoin. It's to finish that deal. Oh, SoftBank is involved. That was the other one. Yeah, that secures the $4 billion in investments from Tether, Bitfinex, and others to create 21 Capital. Yeah. Remember, Tether got their money in a while ago, like a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's just been boom, 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 boom. It's going to be a very big deal. Pay attention to it. I wonder who's going to be let in on the deal. Better come from money. But you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. So let me go take care of that. All right, let me get my notes out of the way. And you can see the markets are looking kind of red. We've got Dow futures down by 160, S&P futures down by 2150, NASDAQ futures by 60.25. So it seems. Why? I'm pretty sure it's because the European Union saying we didn't get a letter from the Trump regime saying that we need to get our best deals in by Wednesday. Amateur hour. Just saying. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that today. I'll just close it out. Then today, what do we have? We've got factory orders, job openings, Chicago Fed president speak, Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is speaking, Dallas Fed President Lori Logan is speaking, Austin Goolsbee is out of Chicago. Pay attention. I'm telling you, people need to pay attention to Fed speak. The Fed spoke yesterday, moved markets. And it wasn't just Powell. It was not just Powell. Just saying, pay attention. We've got fear and greed index at 64, same as yesterday. DeFi Llama, yeah, I finally got it. Got it going today. Let's just move this over so we can see. Yeah, so right now we're at 120. We're down quite a bit. I like being above that 125. I really want to get to 150 as our new, kind of baseline thing going on right there. And then you have Bitcoin. Again, I told you, we're hovering between what was a bottom line before. If you look at 107,771, at first it was resistance. A while back, not over here, but way back, it was resistance. And now it's showing as support. Now you know why I have all these lines up here. And I go way back with all my lines, right? Look at that. I go way back. That's just to show you how far we've come, how far Bitcoin has come. So when I listen to all those naysayers that are not involved yet, I kind of get my giggle on because I think they're dumb. I won't even have a conversation about the topic with people like that. As soon as they come out with something negative that shows me their ignorance, that they have not read my book, either one of them, right? As soon as I hear that they know nothing about the space, but they're criticizing the space, I'm done with the conversation. And sometimes I'm even done with the person. Why? Because they're showing their ignorance. Why would I want to, see what I mean? Just saying. So yeah, I'm not smart about everything, but I'm open to everything. I want to learn. I like to learn. I'm not afraid of cracking open a book. Just saying. I'm not afraid of listening to a book while I'm working. I do it all the time. That's like the best. Nobody's bothering me. I'm just listening to my book, getting work done. It's the best. Then what do we have? We've got the big board looking mighty, mighty green. If there's something that's red, I'm going to pay attention to it. I would expect CRO right here, Kronos. I would expect it to be down. Let's not get it twisted. Why would I expect it to be down? Because it was up when everybody else was down. Because they had that deal in place. Just saying. So this is profit taking to me. That little light red, that's profit taking to me. But look at some of these things that are up deep green. ETH, Hype, Wrapped, whatever the heck it is. Sky, whatever the heck that is. DOT, right? Aptos, Near, Arbitrum. Wow, Arbitrum, that's crazy. That's crazy. Aave, Uniswap, Pepe, SHIB, Link. I'm looking at all these and I look at this board and I still see a lot of opportunity. Solana's below 100. Below 200. Solana being below 200, that's an opportunity to me. And everybody knows I'm not a Solana fan at all. You cannot paint me as a Solana fan. But I'm a fan of value. I used to say I'm a fan of money. I'm a fan of value. Times have changed. There are different things that hold value. You start to grow up, you start to realize that. You start to learn a few things. Just saying. Then you look at this board and you're kind of like, yeah, we got some stuff going on. Right now, the distance between Ethereum and Bitcoin is right now, it's only at 32%? 32%, points between them. That's not bad. I told you, don't sleep on Ethereum. Ethereum's trying to make big strides with regard to scalability and interoperability and usability. I'm telling you, pay attention. The moves that they're making right now are geared toward getting more to build on the platform. Cray. Loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. What else do we have going on? We've got, let's see, XRP below $3. I told you, I went through the list last night. I went through partial of the list last night. And why'd I be looking at those specific, coins and operations? That's why. That's why. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about this community, and absolutely come back and have fun. Become a subscriber if you want. Become a member. Go to growmybag.tv/sign-up, right? Original. And become a bagger or a big bagger. We're approaching 10,000 pieces of information that we have on the platform. 10,000. And that's without our knowledge base. Ooh, yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm hoping to have some news later on this week. I've shared it with Hutanic. Don't tell anybody Hutanic, but yeah, I'm hoping to share some news. We've got some things going on right now. We've had a couple of setbacks with a couple of our partners, but we were able to work with one of our partners and really move forward with that. So it's really, really good. It's the biggest thing that's been holding us back from launching the new platform, and we're so close. Now we're up to beautification and all that good stuff. That's the big one right there. Go Fatima, have not forgotten about you. Your book is going to be ready. Eric Jones, I still don't have an email from you. I need an email address from you. I need an email address. So find a way to get me your email address so I can add you to the big baggers. Eric Jones is our newest big bagger. Been a big bagger for 3 months, but we haven't gotten an email address from him so we can add him to the video conference call that we have coming up this weekend. Big baggers, as a part of the benefit package, you actually get a video conference call with moi and the rest of the big baggers once a month, usually on the second weekend of every month. And it's happening again this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not a big bagger, but you want to hear what we're talking about, you better become one. growmybag.tv/sign-up. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And always thank you for your trust. I will fight for that every day. Everybody have a great day. See you tonight on the Crypto Overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.